Hi, I'm Simon Tarr and this is Valerie Sandler. We'd like to welcome you to the Norristown Area School District Spotlight Show. This program will be focusing on the students and staff of the district, and we'll be looking at everything from superconductivity to McGruff the crime dog and everything in between. Here's Valerie to tell you about our first segment.
At our elementary schools, reading is one of our primary activities. We urge students to read by reading with them, thereby developing the use of their imagination and listening. At Cole Manor Elementary School, we found Mrs. Harris, the school principal, reading to a kindergarten class.
Ready to roll segment and roll segment.
It is a long time since the Pilgrims thanked God for helping them in a new country. Their new country is now the United States of America. Americans in many states have held Thanksgiving every fall since the time of the Pilgrims. President Abraham Lincoln set a special day for Thanksgiving and said it should be held each year all over the country. Now, every year, the fourth Thursday in November is Thanksgiving Day. All over the country, people gather their families together and have a feast. They thank God for the good things of the past year. They eat turkey, and they remember the brave Pilgrims and the first Thanksgiving Day.
Their friends over.
You're going to have friends come over, and what will you do when your friends come over?
Eat turkey.
Are you going to share with them?
Yeah.
All right. What would you do for Thanksgiving? You're going to eat good food and turkey, yes. All right. Well, I think that we're going to have a good Thanksgiving, aren't we? So next week, when you sit down to the table to have your Thanksgiving meal, will you remember the first Thanksgiving? And how the Pilgrims came over to this country so that they could live in freedom and do some of the things that they wanted to do? Yeah. Very good. All right. Boys and girls, it was
McGruff the crime dog helps our Sergeant Duran of the County DARE program communicate his anti-drug message. We caught up with the sergeant at the Stewart Middle School kindergarten.
Ready to roll segment and roll segment.
Hi, I'm Colleen Gray here with Sergeant Robert Durant at Stewart Middle School's kindergarten and his friend McGruff. Sergeant Durant, how does McGruff help you in your job?
It helps me a lot, especially with the younger students. But basically why I'm here at Stewart Middle School is I teach the DARE program. And it's a preventative drug program. And it's a 16-week program. But while I'm here, I also interact with the younger students. For instance, today we're going to go into the kindergarten staff with McGruff. And McGruff assists me with the young people in getting my message across to say no to drugs and yes to life.
Okay, what do we hope to happen by having McGruff here today?
Well, by having McGruff here, young children a chance to interact with someone that they've seen on television. Hopefully it's a personality that they can relate to, and it'll show that it's a cooperative effort between McGruff and law enforcement people to help young people stay off of drugs.
And what message do you hope to leave?
Well, I just hope to leave a good impression with the young people, leave them with a positive image of law enforcement and cartoon characters, and just a message that hopefully as they grow up they will learn to say no to drugs.
Okay, thank you. And
my special friend, McGruff, the crime dog. Big hug there. That's great. That's good. It's okay to give McGruff a hug. He likes that. He's a good dog. Yeah, he does. He helps Sergeant Durant. He helps Sergeant Durant teach little people how to say no.
School pride is a spirit that Norristown students carry long after graduation. Last year, Stewart Middle School Student Council chose to present their school with the monument of their school pride.
Get ready to roll tape B and roll tape B.
Every year is a good one for the Stewart Student Council, but we had an exceptionally successful year in 1988-89. Our fundraising projects, school spirit events, and community services and social dances were all great, and our treasury grew to a tidy sum. It was to be the year of the big gift to the school. Last spring, we sat in council and brainstormed ideas, prioritized, and then voted. A granite stone symbolizing pride in our school won the vote. The stone was then ordered. It arrived at the beginning of the school year, and it was installed by our district facilities engineers a short while ago. Stewart's current student president, Bobby Browse, tells me that plans are set to landscape this site in the spring of 1990. It is with great pride that I, Josh Lippy, former president of the best middle school council anywhere, officially dedicate this stone. Mr. Howe, may it stand forever, continuing to symbolize excellence.
Josh, I want to thank you very much, along with all of the members of the Stewart Middle School Class 89, for this excellent. We view this as sort of a symbol of the outstanding work that the Student Council has done at Stewart for the last 8 years. We began under the leadership of Mr. Stock, and the Student Council that continues to serve this school well with Mrs. Millman and Mr. Weiss, the two advisors, along with Bob Browse and Rosanna Taramina and Jennifer Strobel. Again, I want to thank you very much for this outstanding gift.
The greater Norristown area has long been known as a center for the performing arts. Students in Norristown Area High School can not only be seen in the theater in this school, but in also local community theater.
Ready to roll tape C and roll tape C.
Hi, I'm Simon Tarr, here in the NAHS Auditorium backstage with Amy Nicholas and Sean Nixon. They'll be performing in the 11th Annual Dinner Theater this year. Amy, tell me a little bit about your dramatic background.
Well, Simon, I've been acting for about 8 years, and I also do a lot of community theater.
Like what kind of productions?
Basically musical shows over at the Barn Playhouse in Jeffersonville.
What was your most memorable role? What would you say your most challenging role would be?
My most challenging role is in this year's dinner theater. I play a guy called Harry, who is a nerd, and as the play progresses, I have to become vicious and cruel and big and strong, and then towards the end of the play, I have to become romantic and Romeo-like.
What do you think was the role you had the most fun playing?
I would say it was in the barn.
All be available. Never consider the effects or consequences, not to mention the mess. Certainly the mess. You didn't expect to go. You're gonna go. Slap. Well, what do I care? What's the difference? You care. Believe me, you care. Somewhere in that feeble mind, you care. Program. Mrs. Schwartz teaches a parenting seminar.
Did it change your views on parenting?
Yeah, I know I want to wait.
It's harder than you thought it would be?
You have a 24-hour responsibility, and you're just, I wouldn't say thinking of yourself, but you have to think of somebody else before you think of yourself.
Superconductivity is on the cutting edge of scientific technology. Last year, there were several major universities that couldn't perform this next experiment. However, Mr. Petruso with the Biochem seminar class for 50 degrees Celsius. Without resistance, and magnetic objects can be levitated. Other things can be impregnated with the materials for the possibilities of frictionless bearings and magnetic shielding. The only inconvenience, however, is the negative 350 degrees Celsius temperature that has to be achieved. But in time, this too can be overcome.
Students from Marshall Street Elementary School and Norristown Area High School joined Governor Casey and Mayor Good against drugs.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Casey, do you have a minute?
Sure, let's do it now. Yeah, I just have a second.
Okay, I'm Cindy McNeil from Norristown Area High School.
Yeah.
And you mentioned us. I'd like to know, why have you come here today?
We were here today to announce the first grant of state money to community-based groups that are going to work with schools and young people in the war on drugs to help young people from getting hooked on drugs in the first place. It's one of the first times in the history of Pennsylvania that money's come directly to grassroots neighborhoods.
Not being tolerated in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Your outstanding leadership in making Pennsylvania reality has set an example for 49 other governors to follow. Before your involvement in Penn 3, the state of Pennsylvania was not among the top 10 states fighting drugs. Now your excellency and your consistency might and day involvement in this battle is a sign of virtue drugs in your true community to the liberation of our city from the ravages of drugs. With your strong leadership, the words joint resistance are not written in smoke, but are impressed on the hearts of every drug fighter who enters the street night and day in order to protect our children and society which is free of drugs. Thank you again and again and again. The 35 Street Fire Anti-Drug Coalition Groups of Philadelphia.